All right, so you guys ready to kick off? Yep. So we've got Dancing Francine first up this morning. And this is another lovely woman who brings an amazing energy to the room. Actually from my hometown of Wollongong, which is quite unusual that someone of the calibre of Francine, who does speak all around the country, we're from the same hometown. But we're going to be talking this morning about advanced Facebook strategies. So once again, it's how to get your message out to the world. How you target. So if you've got a niche, how do you target that niche so you can speak your message to more of the right people? So guys, if you wouldn't mind bringing a little bit of energy to the room, standing up and giving her a big round of applause, Francine Bishop. There you go. I'll set that up for you.
Thank you all. And Steve's so naughty for telling you that. I was not going to share that until I was finished.
Yeah.
And then alrighty. Yeah. Let's hope there was no CCTV down there.
It's good fun.
All right. Okay, so privileged to be here. Very grateful to be here and grateful for you all turning up this morning. So we're going to talk about Facebook. And as you know, you would have been told that there are now over 1 billion people who use Facebook on a very regular basis.
Thank you.
Okay. So over 1 billion people there. It's been around for over 10 years. It's not going anywhere. So there are probably still some people in the room who are still trying to hide from it and think that eventually it will go away and it's not going to be something that you have to do. The bad news is it ain't going away. It is a big beast and they basically are looking to dominate in lots of different areas. So Facebook is very rapidly moving, growing, changing, and they have big visions basically. So it's part of business now. It's something that whether you like it or not, we have to do. So what are we going to talk about today? Basically, I'm going to go through with you what is Facebook right now, what have they done in the last little while, what's happening in the next little while, so that you can understand how it's going to work for your business and what you need to be doing there. We're going to look at the Facebook data, what data can you get from Facebook, and I'm going to sort of challenge you to go back and look at whether you are using it effectively and what changes you can make to be using it better. How do you reach more people in less time? One of my pet peeves, people will say to me, Facebook takes too much time. Facebook can't take your time. You are giving it too much time. We're very, very strategic about how we use Facebook, and all of my clients are coached and told to use Facebook 10 minutes every day. That's it. Set a timer, what you do in your personal life if you want to sit on your lounge and use it at night. But in terms of business, you should be able to do your Facebook for business effectively in 10 minutes a day. So I'm going to talk about how you can do that. Then we'll look at the next level. Once you've got that Facebook page, you've got likes on your Facebook page, you're posting every day, then how do you take it to the next level? What is the next level? So one thing that I will ask, just before I go too much further, can I see who has a Facebook page for their business? Awesome. Who posts more than 3 times a week on their Facebook page? Awesome. And is anybody using Facebook ads? Okay, a little bit, not a great. Okay, awesome. That gives me a good sort of context for where to go for you. As you know, we've got 2 sessions. So what I'm going to do this morning is go through this content, and then in the session after, I want to really jump on and do things for you and show you how to do things. So if there are things that I bring up in this first session and you're going, oh, I don't know how to do that, make a note, because in the second session, we're going to jump online and start doing for you. All right? Do some demos. So the next thing that I want you to do is write down 2 burning questions that you have right now. The reason I want you to write them down right now is, as I speak, you're going to get more questions coming into your mind. But there are 2 things that you would have wanted to know when you walked into this room this morning. So I want you to write those down because I want to make sure we answer those 2 burning questions for you. Let's think about this for a moment, because most of you said, yes, you're posting on Facebook. Some of you are probably experiencing very low engagement. So engagement is what we talk, engagement is a terminology that basically means the interaction with what you're doing on Facebook. We're going to talk about engagement a lot because engagement is basically the magic. If you can get engagement on your Facebook page, you will create magic with it. And I don't mean magic by, meaning you're going to go viral. The magic is, how do I get people into my business? Ultimately, that's what we want to be doing. We want to be creating magic, and that is finding those target clients. The ones that aren't our target clients are going to swim through the net. The ones who are our target clients are going to come to our website or into our business. So that's the magic, and that's what we want to create. You'll hear me say strategy a lot. To me, there is so much we can be doing. It's really important to find those couple of things that you should be doing and implement them to create business. That's what it's all about. So I want to ask you this question. Why do people use Facebook? As a user, not as a business owner, why do I use Facebook? Social. It's social. Why else do people use it? To get information? Absolutely. They're lonely. They're bored. Keep up with the Joneses, the fear of missing out, the old FOMO. That is why people use Facebook. They do not go to Facebook looking for an accountant or an architect or a painter, okay? When you are creating your content, that has to be in the forefront of your mind. Because as business owners, we want to market our business. We're trying desperately to get more customers into the business. So we go onto Facebook and we create content that's really, really valuable to us and to our existing clients, but to people who don't know about us, they don't give a rat's. Because they're on their lounge, they're lonely, they're bored, there's a commercial on television, they're standing in a queue at the bank, they're waiting at the gate for the kids to come out of school. They are not there in their personal time looking for your business. So what a lot of businesses are doing is actually intruding or invading a person's social time. And people get really annoyed with it. So you've got to always be thinking, the people who I am trying to attract are here in their downtime. I've got to fit into their downtime, not market my business in their downtime. Okay, so keep that in mind. And that's going to come back to content. We'll talk about that as we get into what content. Okay, what's happening on Facebook right now? You will probably notice loads of changes right now, big shifts in the look and feel on Facebook. You'll notice, and one thing that you may or may not know is there are several versions of Facebook running at any one time. So it makes it really difficult for a trainer. I can stand up here and pull up my Facebook page and you'll go, mine doesn't look like that. There are literally hundreds of versions. So if I say look for a like button, look for the word like. The button could be here, 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 or here, depending on what version you're on, okay? So you'll notice on some of your Facebook pages, when you go to where it used to say write a status or post a status, now you've got these little icons. You can create an event, tell people about your website, like they're based around an objective. So what Facebook's trying to do moving forward is make the platform very, very user-friendly. Unfortunately for us that have been using it for a long time, what it does is just add confusion and complexity because we're like, well, where did that go? It used to be there. So you'll notice it's becoming more icon-oriented and very different looking. There's a big banner at the top of your Facebook page now, which is your opportunity to brand and market something in your business. That cover photo, which is the big image, the big banner at the top of your Facebook page, used to have lots of stuff over it. Now it's just a big blank space. You want to have a call to action on there. So Peter would have talked yesterday. I wasn't here yesterday morning, but I'm sure he talked yesterday about having some sort of lead capture on your website. If you have lead capture on your website, you should also have your lead capture on your Facebook page. Your cover photo should say, download blah, 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 with a button to a form. Okay, so that's your first action that you need to take. Make sure you've got a call to action on your Facebook page. And there's a button that you can format, there's a number of options. Sign up, contact us, da-da-da. You format that to go to exactly the page where they're going to download whatever your offer is, okay? The algorithm. So is everybody aware that within Facebook you have 500 friends and you've liked 500 pages, and you would notice that you used to see everything that Auntie Jan posts, and now all of a sudden you don't see any of Auntie Jan's posts. and Auntie Jan's saying, you didn't like my photos. And you're going, but Auntie Jan, you don't post much on Facebook anymore. It's not that Auntie Jan's not posting, it's that Facebook decided that's not relevant to you. That's not what you want to see. So based on your interactions, every single one of us has a profile in Facebook, and I don't mean the profile that we create, I mean a profile that Facebook has created about us. So Facebook is storing all of this data, and it's based on everything we do. So if we watch a video and it's about puppies, they're putting a little tick next to the box that says she likes puppies. If we watch a video about babies, she likes babies. If we click on a wedding photo, she might be getting married. If we write that we're engaged, bingo, you're engaged. So Facebook is creating this profile about all of us. And based on that profile, they decide of your 500 friends and your 500 pages that you've liked, which ones of those are going to go into your newsfeed. Okay? That algorithm changes a lot. It's like Google with search engine optimization. We don't know exactly what that algorithm is. But what I can say to you is, if you are posting on your Facebook page and you have 1,000 likes on your Facebook page, but when you do a post and you see down the bottom that 3 people saw this, or this reached 3 people, you're going, well, what is the point of doing this? That's because in Facebook world, nobody is interested in what you're posting, because nobody's interacting. So we're going to talk about how do you change that. And that's, again, comes back to that interaction. Facebook's focus moving forward. I heard lots of talk yesterday about video, and again this morning about video. Facebook are basically saying they want to dominate video, and they are planning on taking over from YouTube. That's their goal. So that Facebook live videos will be your absolute most reach. You will get the most reach by doing what's called a native Facebook video. So I heard a question yesterday, should I post a video on YouTube and then share it across on Facebook? The answer is no. Do it on Facebook, because you'll get much bigger and broader reach on Facebook if it's Facebook. It's basically on your phone, yeah? So you're literally live streaming. So if I click it here and I'm going like this, or any one of my friends will see Francine's live now, like Steve's doing right now. Francine is live on Facebook. So if you click it, you'll be able to literally be here in the room with us like a live stream. Yeah. And people can, click little icons and little thumbs up come across the bottom of the screen. And so, yeah, it's literally like live streaming. That will dominate. That will always get better reach than anything else. So what you're going to do is you're going to practice your videos in the Facebook group, and once you get really good at them, you're actually not going to do a recording and then upload it. You're going to Facebook Live it and literally do it live, because you'll get much bigger reach with it. Okay, so that's the goal. Interestingly, when you said you did a video and you watched it back and you went, oh, I actually wasn't too bad. People cannot feel what you are feeling inside. We feel inside like we are dreadful. We all do. When we watch it back, we're never as bad as we thought we were going to be. I have to say, I don't like it. I don't enjoy doing video, but for the benefit of the business, we've got to get over those things and do it anyway. So, yeah, good job on for those of you who did it yesterday. That's amazing. So we always have to remember Facebook's built on the idea of connectivity. Basically, their goal is to connect every human being on the planet. That's the overall goal. So if that is their goal, then we have to consider, how do we fit in as a business in a social environment, because it's not about our business. The key is interaction. So the word engagement. What is interaction in Facebook land? It's a like, it's a comment, it's a share. They're the 3 obvious ones. But it's also clicking to open a video. It's clicking to read more. You know how Facebook chops stories off and does a read more, and you have to open it to extend? So some people will say, don't post too long on Facebook because people won't read it. Rubbish. If your content is good, they will read it. They won't read it if your content is rubbish. So should you post long posts? If it's rubbish, no. Don't post it just for the point of getting them to click the read more. But if it is good content and it's relevant to your target market and it's longer than a couple of lines, post it, okay? Read more is interaction. So what happens every time somebody clicks read more, somebody clicks to open a video, somebody likes, comments or shares, alongside their profile is a little tick for they're interested in what you're posting. Therefore, each time you post, you've got more likelihood of showing up in their newsfeed. Every time you show up in their newsfeed and they do one of these things, their friends obviously are told in their newsfeed that Jan clicked like on this page. Now that will only happen to Jan's closest friends, which are the ones she interacts with. So what happens sometimes you'll see, I had a lady say to me on Tuesday, I did a workshop and she said, I can't work it out. She said, one day I'll post something and I'll get 2,000 reach. The following day or a week or a month later, I'll do exactly the same thing because I think that really worked and I'll get 3. How can that happen? It's the same content, it's the same format, so it's a video or it's image or whatever it was. How can that happen? It happens because the people who interact, who are influencers in Facebook land, will determine how broad your reach is. So if I'm a super active person on Facebook and I use it a lot and I comment, post, share, all of those things, and Facebook sees me as an influencer, and I comment, like, or share something you do, you'll get exposure to my friends versus your mum who doesn't comment, like, or share on anything and just sees things. She likes it, nobody else sees it. So it's all about getting those influencers or the people who do lots of stuff to comment, like, share, interact with your stuff. Absolutely. And you know, some organisations do amazing things on social media and they've got 100 employees and they're going, we don't get any comments, likes or shares. Well, the first thing you need to do is look internally in your organisation and ask the question, why aren't our employees and our staff and our contractors engaging with what we do? Because I'll give you an example. One of the councils I did some training with, they've got 13 libraries. Libraries have bucket loads of content. They were doing a really crappy job. It was boring as buggery. So we did a new strategy and they started creating really cool, funky posts and it was going really well, but still weren't getting any reach because the page in Facebook's eyes was boring. So what we did was get all the staff in from all the libraries, and there's a bit of a backstory to it. They were all turning their back on it because it had been taken off them. They used to feel like they could do things and now they can't, you know, blah, blah, blah. So we got them all in, made them feel a part of it and said to them, when you see something on Facebook from one of the library staff, like it, comment on it, share it. It's about your workplace. It's about your events. They were like, oh, okay, should we be doing that? Yes, of course you should. They went from their posts reaching 2 to 5 people to now reaching 2,000 to 5,000 people like that. It literally, the growth and the exposure you can get just by having people do those things is enormous. So don't underestimate the value of having the people in your organisation contributing to your social media. Takes a little bit of encouragement because you've got to make them feel a part of it. But if you can figure out a way to make them feel a part of it and encourage them to do it with you, it'll make a huge difference. And it just gives you that launch pad to then get the exposure to a wider audience. Yeah. So what to post? My first thing there is be bold. It's really easy to want to blend in. And as business people, 10 years ago, if somebody said to us, we're going to get on a global platform and we're going to spruik about our business and we're going to do live videos on, we would have said, oh my God, I'll never do that. And now I'm standing here saying to you, yeah, you need to do that. You are going to feel uncomfortable. You are going to feel overwhelmed. And you are going to, at times, want to hide in your bed, pull the sheets over your heads and not come out. We feel vulnerable in a social media space. We wouldn't be human if we didn't feel vulnerable. So accept that that's going to be a part of it. Share your values of your business, your internal stuff that you never thought that you would ever tell anybody. Share why you do what you do. If you're a plumber who's doing what you do because you love it, but wants to grow because you want to be able to, provide better things, or you want to be able to go on more holidays, or that's the stuff that makes you different. That's the things that people want to hear. I've got a bookkeeper client. If this is a networking event, she's the bookkeeper who would walk in here and go, "Oh, hi, my name's Angie, I'm a bookkeeper." And people go, "Oh, bookkeepers don't normally do that." So her Facebook page looked like a bookkeeper Facebook page. I'm like, but that's not you. You're the person who walks in the room and goes, "Oh, if you don't know me, you'll know me by the end of today." That's what makes people come to you. That's what makes people use you as a bookkeeper. So they go onto your Facebook page and they go, "Oh yeah, she's just a bookkeeper like every other bookkeeper." No, they've got to feel who you are. That's what makes them come to you. So we now have her doing, she's got this little bobblehead video thing, and that we had created for it. It's a little animated bobblehead, and we're doing all these things, and we've created, her tagline now is a bookkeeper with personality. So everything that she does now, I'm going, no, stop. You've created an image that you're going to share on social media that's in blue and grey and doesn't make me feel like you've got personality. So everything you do needs to tie back to the values in the business, the quality that you deliver. What is it that makes you different and makes you stand out needs to come through in your posts. As we said, video will dominate. Frequency absolutely matters. Now, frequency for most of us is, I post on there a couple of times a week. I want you to decide, make a decision. Your strategy is to post X number of times a week. I want you to think about when those posts are going to be done, and I want you to put time in your calendar to actually do them. Because what happens with most of us, if I had my phone here, this is my phone. What happens with most of us is we get to 3 o'clock in the afternoon and we go, "Oh shit, haven't done a Facebook post today. Oh, that'll do. I'll share that. Yep, that's good. Facebook's done for the day." Ad hoc, random posting does not work and will not work ever. Facebook wants you to have a strategy and they want you to use it systematically. So posting sporadically and randomly is a thing of the past. You guys are going to have a strategy. You're going to move forward with, these are the days of the week and the times of the day that I'm going to post. You're going to have a diary time slot where you sit and you plan your content. You schedule your content all to go out at that time of day and that day of the week. And then you literally jump on there each day, check what's going on and get off. Okay? And I'm going to show you how to do that. But really, really important. It's all comes down to strategy. Relevancy rules. Now, what I mean by that is relevant to your target market. Where we're going wrong as businesses is we're going relevant to my business. If your business is about muesli, which is a good topic to be sharing, so I have to say you're one of the lucky ones. If I'm a solicitor or an accountant, it's much harder. If my business is about muesli and I post about muesli, my muesli, this muesli, that muesli, someone eating muesli, muesli Wednesday, muesli Thursday, muesli, boring. Your audience is going, "Yeah, we get it. You make muesli. I know." You want to be posting what is relevant to your target market. Who are the people that eat my muesli and what do they want to talk about? It might be holidays, it might be healthy lifestyles, it might be how long I need to run, it might be, all of these things. There's a reason they eat your muesli. There's a reason they buy the most expensive muesli. Who are those people and what are they interested in? Okay? Not what are you selling, not what is relevant to your business, not what is relevant to what you think your customers want to know about your product, because it's never what we think they want to know, but it's about what are they talking about and how do we fit into that conversation, tying back to our muesli by our branding. Okay? So always keeping that in mind. Great content. Your content, every single post, needs to do one of two things. It needs to touch me emotionally, make me feel happy, sad, excited, bored, something. It needs to make me feel something. or it needs to, so emotion. You want to invoke an emotion, or it needs to educate me. So it needs to create an emotion or educate. And when I say educate, it's adding value. So, yesterday when Scott was saying, what's a theme in your business, and think of 10 things about that theme that people need to know, they're the things that then plug into your social media strategy. And ultimately, if you get the whole cycle right, those things, those themes and topics about the themes are on your blog and then shared across on your Facebook. And one blog post can be worded 10 different ways to say what's in that one blog post. So ultimately you want to be thinking about it, I call it your ecosystem, your digital ecosystem. You want to have your website at the middle, and everything outside that is sending traffic back to your website. Your Facebook should be sending traffic back to your website using the topics that you educate people on based on what they want to know about your business. And then you're creating a circle or a cycle where they're coming from Facebook to your website because they need to get that information. They're going back to Facebook. They're being entertained, informed. You're creating emotion. Your emotion creates attachment back to your business. Next time you write the next step in that topics, they're coming back to your website. And eventually, I call it the customer acquisition cycle. Eventually, so they go from awareness of you, they've just seen you pop up. They get curious. They come over to the blog and they read something. They move along that customer acquisition cycle until they know you, like you, and trust you, and then they buy. So that's the cycle. And I'm going to talk more about how you're going to get back in front of them later on. Always focus on inclusion and interaction. Use terminology, wording that says to them, I want you to be a part of my community. I want you to be a part of what we're doing. Everybody, and it's funny you say lonely, we're so connected, but we're so lonely, and everybody wants to be a part of something bigger. So if your Facebook page can feel like it's got a community around it and you're encouraging that interaction, you'll find that people will be attracted purely to that connectivity. And speed of response. Don't ask long, difficult questions. Don't ask people to do things that will take a lot of time. If you're going to ask a question on the Facebook page, make it a closed question so they can answer yes or no. Or make it a really simple response for them to be able to interact with you. If it takes more than a split second, we've scrolled past it and we're not going to interact with it. So really look at, is it something they can respond to quickly? These 3 things I want you to ask as a question before you post any content. So as you write a post, you design a post, you create an image and you've got the text there, I want you to stop momentarily. Does this inform or create an emotion? Does the wording make me feel inclusive and make me want to interact? And can people do that really, really quickly? And that's your 3 kind of quick questions that you can ask yourself. Now, Scott would have talked yesterday about emotive words and all of that. Really, all we have, if other than video, is the words on the page. So you've got to be very, what's the word? You. So, no, I'm trying to think of the, it's got to sound like you even though there's no sound. I can't think of the word. That was that last bloody cocktail. And I will say, now that I can see Scott up the back there, I think Scott sabotaged me. I think there was an attempt to bring me undone, Scott, with that last cocktail. So it's on you. So, yeah. Okay, back to what I was saying. What I want you to do is, every post you're going to read it, right? Read it. Does it make me feel something? Does it make me feel inclusive? Blah, blah, blah. Then I want you to read it out aloud. And you'll all look a little bit crazy. You sit talking to yourself. That's okay. If you read it out aloud, you will see how it feels to the person reading it. Our schools make us write very boringly. We've been trained to take out any feeling from what we write. So I want you to get into the habit, and sometimes it's better to actually do it the other way, say it, and then type what you said. So I actually have clients who just can't do that, who will voice record what they want to say and then just type what they've said. Because that way it feels like you, okay? Blogging. If you want to blog, but you're not getting the time to do that, voice record it and then get somebody to type what you've said. It's got to feel like you. So it's a really good way of figuring, if you're posting every single day and nobody's ever interacting, it's not about the people on the other end, it's about how you're writing those posts. So stop writing them, say them, and then type them and see if it changes the level of interaction. When you send an email to people or you post on Facebook, basically you want them to go, yep, that sounds like her. That's exactly how she would say that. I get people when I actually send emails who will ring me and say, whenever I read your emails, I feel like you're sitting in the room with me. Like I can sense your humour, I can sense your, tone, in your emails. And that's purely because I've forgotten everything that I was ever taught at school and I now do it the way that I say it. And don't worry about, now I will say, don't be sloppy. Don't drop the G's off because, I say liking, not liking. We're still professionals. So don't be sloppy, but just be you. So that's our content. Some useful tools for you. Somebody mentioned Canva yesterday. If you are not using Canva, get on it. It is the best tool, in my opinion, that has ever been released to the market. It's free. It's Aussie. It was actually one Wollongong boy and 2 Sydney people who created the platform. They got a commercialisation grant. They went to Silicon Valley. They got some more funding over there. It is the coolest tool ever. And if anybody needs me to show you that after, let me know and we'll jump on and have a look at it. What you're going to use Canva for is to create images to go with every post that you do. So I don't want to see any of you doing straight text on your posts. What I want to see you do is, if I'm talking about Steve's VA Ninja team in my post, I want to see an image that has some sort of funky ninja and a little bit of text on there that says, check out our VA Ninja team with the branding. So every post you do is going to have some sort of image. It could be a photograph on the job. It could be a photo in the factory. Doesn't matter what image it is, but you're going to use a tool to put your logo on it and make everything go out branding, engaging, and linked back to you. The rule was, in advertising on Facebook, you couldn't have an image with more than 20% of the image covered in text. The rule is now gone. However, they will give preference to images with less text. So you don't want to cover the whole thing in text, which is a really good point, because I would prefer just a little snippet of text and the text underneath the image anyway. Most of us are using social media on our mobile phones. If you're doing images that are all covered in text, it can be really hard to read. So just a little snippet of text on there with the rest of the text typed underneath it, and then make people actually click to open up the text and read what you're talking about. Pixabay is a good site for free images. So if you're stuck for images, it's really, they're all free on Pixabay. There are a number of them, but Pixabay is a relatively good one. Pixabay and Canva have just created a partnership. So in Canva now, you can actually search Pixabay images and I'll show you that after if you like, but when you're searching for images, it'll actually pull images from Pixabay, which are free to use. So that's just a really new thing, maybe this week or last week. So that's really cool. And Deep Etch. Now, Deep Etch, I'll show you what I use that for, and it is so cool. See this little dog? When I purchased this image, this little dog was, sitting in a backyard or something. He wasn't just sitting there on white. Well, I want to use him on Facebook, just as a quirky little image. I don't want a backyard in the background. I want to be able to sit him on top of things and have no background, so that there's, I can create an image however I want. What I do is I send the picture of the dog with the background to Deep Etch, this bottom one, and I say remove background. And it costs me about $1, and it comes back like that with a little funky dog with no background. So if you are a Photoshop user, you can do that yourself. if you are, looking at images and saying, I really like that guy there, but I don't want him in the front of a room, send it to Deep Etch. Really quick, really cheap. They'll remove the background for you. So, Facebook data. Facebook gives us loads of data that you are going to start looking at. Why are you going to start looking at it? Because there's a pretty good chance that, remember Steve said you've got the net and you throw the net out there and the net catches all of these people. Your target market might be 25 to 35-year-olds who live within a 20k radius of where you are, that's who you're looking for. Your Facebook audience could possibly be 65 plus people within a worldwide radius, and you're wondering why they're not engaging with what you're doing. So what you're going to do first of all is you're going to look at your audience in Facebook and say, are they the right people? So you're going to go to Insights, is where you find all of the data. Insights at the top of your Facebook page. And in there, you'll find all of this information that says the people who like your page are this age bracket, they live in Australia, and it breaks down. You can go down to suburbs, get all that information out of there. First thing you're going to do is say, are these our target market? Because if they're not, they're highly unlikely to be interested in the content that you're going to post. So the first thing you need to do is attract the right target market. Then you're going to, so that's your knowing who's there. Then you're going to look at when are they using Facebook. So you jump in, there's another tab there, and you'll look at what time of the day and day of the week are they most likely to be using Facebook. Okay, that's the second thing. Because remember I said you're going to decide, I'm going to post on these days at this time, this is what's going to educate you on how you do that or when you do that. Then you're going to look at, if you are a shop, this is the coolest thing ever. If you have a physical place of business, particularly retail, this is so cool for retail, you can look what people are around my business and at what days of the week is the busiest time. So, for example, this is right where my business is, okay? So that little blue dot is where my business is. I can see that 18 to 24-year-olds are around my business. The busiest time is 1 to 2 p.m. on a Friday. There's a market in the mall. So, there's young people and that's spot on. But if I'm a hairdressing salon and I know that I've got 18 to 24-year-olds all around my business from 1 to 2 p.m, I can target ads that literally, as they're walking past my business, are popping up and saying, stop in for a voucher, buy a voucher, blah, whatever I want to offer. But you can literally be offering people Facebook-only specials. If you're a liker of our Facebook page and you're in the area right now, pop in for whatever it is that you want to sell. Okay, so really cool stuff. This is only relatively new, so you may not have seen this. Then you're going to look at which posts are creating the most engagement for you. So is it photographs, is it videos, is it links? And you can see which ones you're getting engagement on. I want you to make informed decisions. I want you to be strategic about what you're doing. So knowing this information enables you to develop a strategy so that instead of running random ad hoc, fly by the seat of your pants Facebook pages and going, I don't know why it's not working, you're going to look at this data, you're going to make informed decisions. Is our target market there? When are they online? So when should I post? What sort of content are they engaging in? Boom, create that exact content at the right times. So that's about remembering who you're talking to, and literally having a conversation with that one person is the best way to create engagement. So managing your time, and I've talked about this, but you're going to use a strategic methodology. So you're going to plan, why are we using Facebook? What are our objectives and what are we trying to achieve with it? Who do we want to attract? All of those things go into your strategy. You block out time in your calendar, in your diary, once a week, once a fortnight, once a month, that you sit down. You might do it as a team, if you've got a team, and you plan content for the next week, fortnight or month. You schedule the content. You build in patterns. We as humans are very, very simple creatures. We like consistency, we like patterns. So if you're going to do Techie Tuesday, if I'm going to provide techie tips, then do it every single Tuesday, because people will start to develop a pattern of going, where's Techie Tuesday? Okay, so develop patterns in what you're doing. And designate online times. Now, this is a really, really important one. Humans are incredibly impatient. We now send emails and go, well, I emailed you and you didn't respond 15 minutes ago. Like, well, I'm sorry. Facebook is exactly the same, times by 1,000,000. People expect immediate responses on Facebook. We're not going to provide immediate responses because we're not sitting on Facebook waiting for your question. So what you need to do is educate your audience that we get on Facebook at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. each day of the week. So if you ask a question, that's when you can expect to get a response. If you would like a quicker response, call this number. Okay, so put that in your About section. Put it as an auto reply on Facebook. Okay, educate people to not have those ridiculous expectations of you. Protect yourself and your time. When you're planning, you pull out a calendar, you put it up on your desktop, whatever you do. First thing you want to do is put in anything key that's coming up. Might be events, might be new products, might be launches, might be days that you're away, when you've got free appointments. They go in first. And if it's an event, you might then say, okay, well, there's the event. 3 weeks before we're going to start promoting it, XXX, their event promotion days. They go in first. First things on the calendar. Then you're looking at your strategy and you're saying, okay, what are the other things we're going to post every day? Have we got those patterns? Are we doing Techie Tuesday? Then they go in first, next, after your events. Incorporate some entertaining, emotional posts and fill the gaps. So we basically use themes. When we plan with clients, we use themes. So we'll say we've got 5 themes that we want to be known for, and we nominate a day of the week when we post each of those themes, and then we start filling in our calendar as per this. Some useful tools for your planning and your posting. Scheduling posts on Facebook is your new best friend. You literally are going to plan your content and post it well ahead of time, and then you don't have to think about it until your next calendar event where you're sitting down and planning content. Facebook auto reply, as I said, hi, thanks so much for the message. We check Facebook at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. every day of the week. You can expect a response from us then. If you would like an earlier response, here's a number that you can call. The only downside of Facebook auto reply, I find, I'm one of those that gets a text message and goes, response, put the phone down. 3 days later, you didn't respond to my text message. No, I did. I'm sure I did. Oh, that's right, I did in here, but I didn't type it. That's me. Auto response sends it, then it doesn't show up anymore as an unread message. The little red icon goes. So if you don't physically check it, chances are you've auto responded and not physically responded. So just be aware of that. Absolutely, switch it on and off, yep. So, and the last one there, this is, Scott yesterday was saying with your headlines, playing with your headlines. This little tool at the bottom here, you actually punch in the headline that you've got in mind and it will say to you, there's no emotive words in there. Scott, this is copywritten, no, you sabotaged me, look down, you can't have this. This headline has no emotion, or there's too many small words, or it'll basically analyse for you and tell you it's going to work or it's not, which is pretty cool. Don't use it for everything though. All of these things can take so much time because you get in there and you get a little, oh wow, I wonder if I tried that. I wonder if I tried, and all of a sudden you've wasted an hour playing on headlines. So yeah, don't waste too much time on it. The next level stuff that I want to talk to you about, obviously advertising on Facebook is absolutely critical now. You need to have a Facebook budget. You need to put some of your marketing budget, advertising budget on Facebook now. That's just got to be a part of every business strategy. Hopefully some of you aren't doing Yellow Pages anymore, or True Local, or some of these that are costing a fortune. I actually had a client the other day who was still spending $90,000 on Yellow Pages a year. I didn't even think that was possible. That's why they're still in business, exactly. So there's obviously a number of those crazy people still around. So allocate some of that budget to your advertising on Facebook. You can literally now, in Facebook, import your database. So if you have a database of people who have been clients in the past, you can import that list into Facebook. Facebook will go all around Facebook and find all of those people and say, here's your customers if you would like to get back in front of them. So if you are not using it in that way, that is another action step for you. You need to create a custom audience of past clients, a custom audience of database people, maybe people who have never bought from us but are in our database, and you're going to pop up in front of them. And all of a sudden they go, oh, I remember that muesli. That was the best muesli I ever had, and we've never bought it again. Okay? Then you say to Facebook, okay, so this is my customers. There's a whole bunch of other people out there who are just like those people. Can you gather them for me? So you create what's called a lookalike audience. And Facebook says, okay, let's gather in all the people who are exactly like these people based on Facebook's profile of you, who like healthy food, who go jogging, who whatever, and put those people in another audience. So now, all of a sudden, I've got all of the people who buy muesli in Australia between this age and this age, who like running, whatever, in another audience. And I'm just going to start popping up in front of them. There are possibly brands that you can actually say, I'll just have all of them, all of those people in an audience, please. So you can be so strategic, and this is why it's so powerful. Your Facebook advertising can literally target somebody who got engaged 2 weeks ago, who lives in North Sydney and is between 22 and 28 years old, and say, just show my ads to those people. So it is so, so clever. I want somebody who's just fallen pregnant, who's in the first 3 months of pregnancy. You know, it's insane. What does that mean, though? It means you have to know your target market inside and out. When you write down your target market, you know, it's interesting, I heard somebody say this morning, we all go into business and we all say, who's your target market? Anyone who wants to get their wallet out. That's my target market. You know, we all go into business that way. You know, we just need customers. What you want to do now in this environment is get to the point where you say, I only want people who have a brown wallet that's leather, that carries $200 cash at all time, drives an Audi, and wears, you know, Louis Vuitton. You know, like you need to know them better than they know themselves. Profile them. If you don't know your target market, pick your favourite customer, the one who you love working with, who never argues about price, who pays every single time you send an invoice. Pick that person and draw them. Know every line on their face. You want every person just like that person to be your customer. So you've got to know them to that level of detail. Custom audiences then become someone who visited my website. I want someone who visited my website but didn't purchase. So you put a little piece of code in the back end of your website. Your website now sends information to Facebook saying this person visited the website. That creates an audience, and you follow them. You stalk them all over Facebook. And all of a sudden they go, I am meant to buy that muesli because I see it everywhere. You know the old, when you're going to buy a Mazda and you go to Mazda's website and you go and you look at a 323 Mazda, and then all of a sudden everywhere you look there's Mazdas, and you're going, I must be meant to have a Mazda because I see them everywhere. Now you do that digitally. You follow them all around. Little Mazdas follow me all around. Okay, it's remarketing. That is the next step, and it is so important in your business to create familiarity and branding. I go places now and people come up to me and go, I swear I've met you somewhere. You look so familiar. Not sure what it is, but yeah, you're really familiar. Yeah, that's because I've been following you around. Like, it wasn't by accident. I just followed you everywhere you went, and now you feel like you know me. So that's what you want to get to the point of doing. Okay. Is that like... All right, so that's it for that first session. Anyone got any questions that you want to start with now, or do you want to wait till after the break? Yes. Yeah. So there's two reasons for that. So you're creating a video with images and uploading it straight to Facebook? Oh, inside Facebook? Okay. So 2 reasons for that. When you do 7 or 8 photographs, people have to click on it for it to open up. By getting that interaction, Facebook is saying this is an engaging post. So it's a good idea to use a number of photos. So if you're posting photographs and you're only posting 2, you know how they can open up side by side and people don't have to click on it to physically open it? Post 3 so that it goes to the little thing that says there's more images. So the reason you're doing a really clever thing, the reason it gets higher reach is because people are clicking on it to see the other photos. So Facebook is saying this is an engaging post because it's getting interaction. They're showing it to more people. If your video was getting opened more and watched more, then you would get more reach from it. But it's purely because of that interaction. Facebook is tagging it as an engaging post and showing more people. Shares used to be really good, and now they are really low reach. When you're sharing from your personal to your business, your reach is lower than when you're sharing from your business to your personal. That's because on your personal you don't have any data. So it would show probably similar if you could see the data. When you're sharing this way, it's showing it to your friends. So they're coming up in your statistics. So probably either way is getting similar reach, but you just don't get the gauge, the reading of it over here. So the page post won't be shown again to the friends who have already seen it on yours, typically, which means that you're not getting that measure of those people on your business page post. Does that make sense? So shares, unfortunately, aren't going to get you the best reach. That means there's been no posts and nobody's come to the page. So nobody's visited the page. Because another thing you want to be always thinking about is how are we driving people to Facebook? Oh, are you just looking? Oh, yes, you're right. It's the it's the button at the top. So there's a new button now for contact us, blah, 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 that you can have set up to link to your website or anything. The no action is just nobody's clicked on that button. Yeah, no, you're right. Spot on. Thank you. Yes. First, I'll tell you what not to do. Please do not accept them as a friend and then send them a message and say, hi, please like my page. Oh my God, I hate that. So let me ask you a question. Why don't you want them to be a friend as well as a like on the business page? My thoughts are this. When you are in business, and if you're in 130 countries, and you have an opportunity to market to the world using a profile and a page, then you make a decision to use your profile as you as a public person. I was going to say, and if you want to, you have a personal one and you call it something slightly different so that people won't identify you, and you keep it very, very private. You'll find I'm exactly the same, and so the time comes where you have to just make a decision. Okay, look, this is an opportunity to be bigger than what I am. I'm going to keep this profile as me as a business person, and if I want to have Facebook with my friends and my family, I'm going to create a profile and have it very private. I'm exactly like you. I say to people, if you meet me at the pub or you see me in a training room or you see me, I'm the same person everywhere I go. And so I had to make a decision that my Facebook was going to be the same. I want to be authentic. I am who I am. So I drew a line in the sand and I said, okay, this is how much I share on Facebook. and I don't cross that line. So I'll tell you, you'll go on my Facebook page and you'll know that I've got 2 kids, and you'll know this and you'll know that, but you won't know that yesterday I couldn't get out of bed because I had depression, or, you draw a line in the sand and you decide that I am a public profile. That is who I am as a business. This is what I'm going to share. And in terms of the crazies, you're going to get the crazies. You're going to get marriage proposals every single day. You're going to get told how beautiful you are and how pretty your eyes are, and that's a part of it. So you have your settings set. So I've got my settings set that people can tag me, but it doesn't go up until I approve it. Yep, great, yep. So I think it's just a decision you have to make. Yep. No, so you got to make a decision that I'm going to use both as me as a business and grow a profile, and don't share the photos of the kids in the bath. So just be who you are and accept that it's going to be a part of your business moving forward. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yep. Hashtags. So hashtag loving life. You'll hear people say that sort of stuff. Hashtags in Facebook and Instagram, if you are completely unfamiliar with what they are, think of them as a clickable keyword. So that's how I think of them, as a clickable keyword. So what that means is, if Steve has a hashtag Penrith breakthrough, whatever, and I post that in my post, somebody sees it, they can click on it, and every post that has that hashtag in it will come up in a feed. Same as on Instagram, Twitter, they all do it. The value of it is broadening your market. So you need to know what hashtag are your target market using. So it's about trying to figure out, is there a hashtag or a group of hashtags that my target market are using? So say, for example, the muesli is a great example. What's something that has a hashtag that people who eat muesli would do? Vegan, organic, those group of hashtags, you are going to pick up your target market who are using hashtag vegan, hashtag organic, paleo. Excellent. So what you do is, every single product that leaves your business has a reward for people who post a photo of them eating their crackers and lavash using hashtag blah, blah, blah. Every product that leaves you has a little slip that says, post a photo of you using hashtag da-da-da-da to go in the running for a free block of cheese every month. We give one away every single month, randomly chosen from everyone who uses hashtag blah, blah, blah. It's a bit like websites and social media trainers, or every website designers and social media, but it's very unpoliced. There are lots of rules, obviously, around gaming and all of that sort of stuff. If you were doing something like that as a random thing, you would be probably in breach of some of those rules. So you would have a look at it. However, would anybody ever pick you up on it? I have never, in 2007, I think I started my business, I've never heard of anybody ever being picked up on it. So yeah, it's worth looking at. What are the rules around doing some sort of giveaway? Everybody does it. I've never seen anybody be policed over it. So as in Hootsuite, co-schedule, yep, all of those. I think they do. Yeah, I think they do. And the other thing that they do is they take you out of the native Facebook space, in terms of you're not organically interacting with people if you're out in an external platform. They say that they don't. Like the platforms, Hootsuite and those, they say, oh, it won't affect it. I think they do, in terms of what I've seen, database, yeah, data-wise. So yeah, I don't use them.
All right, how you going? Good? Great. All right, round of applause for Francine. Thank you. Come and have a seat. You did such a good job.
Thank you.
All righty. Now, that last cocktail, let's talk about it. Was it worth it?
Yep.
Yep, sure was. We had a great time. We had such a good time, didn't we, last
night?
night?
A good time.
It was just so much fun. You know what, and just reflecting on that, I always come to these events, and you know what, it's about sharing the experiences and having fun.
Absolutely.
Me and Pete were talking about it this morning. You come for the education, but you stay for the experiences and the community. All right, it's so important. So it was good fun. Yeah. All right, so that's the first session for today done.
Excellent.
Excellent. Well done. You did an amazing job.
Oh,
Second session's going to be even better, I'm sure.
Thank you.
got a couple of things I want to share with you. So if you're not familiar with our hashtag for our events, it's hashtag B4BLive. If you do want to take some photos, get it out there. All right, so just a quick question. Is it going to hurt your profile as a business person if you take a photo being here and then post it saying, loving learning more about business or something along that lines, and posting it on your personal Facebook page, putting hashtag B4BLive? Does that sort of increase your profile as a business person or decrease it? Right. Let's do it. All right. So I'll challenge you guys. Next session when Francine's talking about it or whatever else, get your cameras out. Add me as a friend if you want on Facebook. Tag anyone. Add Francine. Let's get it out there, because this has to be, today is the start of the next period of your business journey. That's the way I want to see it. All right, I've set up the closed Facebook group for everyone here. So we've got all the speakers have said, yep, they want to be involved. So they're in it already. I'm in it. You have to go and search for it. If you type in Breakthrough for Business dash Penrith, it's a closed Facebook group. You can join it. If other people try to join it, I'll block them. This is for you guys to do videos. Go in there, start to build your muscle and develop the skill that you need to create videos. All right? If you do not do it, this is what I'm challenging you with right now. You might have come into this room ignorant yesterday of what you needed to do. I'm telling you right now, you now have a choice. You know what you need to do. The choice is now yours whether you do it or not. How much do you want that thing that you have as a goal? How badly do you want it? It's having the courage to step up, to stand out. I'm giving you a safe environment to do it in a closed Facebook group, so that once you're happy with it, you go, right, I'm going to do it on my page. And that, outside of your comfort zone, I might suggest is where the success lies. Afternoon tea's upon us. We are going to be
Morning.
back.
See, how many cocktails did you have?
I just want to go to bed. No. Morning tea is here. Let's be sort of back here about 10 past 11. And we're going to kick off again with Francine at 11:15. Alrighty, we'll play the music. You guys have a good morning tea break. Make sure you catch up with everyone. If you want to start doing your videos now, add me as a friend, Stephen Dixon. Get in the group, Breakthrough for Business dash Penrith. Let's get it done. All right, we'll see you back soon. Ciao.
So what I'm thinking in this session, which isn't the afternoon, although my body is starting to feel like it's the afternoon. What I'm thinking is, let's jump online. Let's go into Facebook and let's do some of the stuff that we talked about this morning. So, and you've all got those 2 burning questions, and I want to make sure that you've all had those 2 burning questions answered. So I'm going to keep an eye on the time. I'm going to sort of try and make sure that I've got plenty of time before we finish to get all of your questions answered. I'm going to, particularly the questions that I was asked in the break are about creating custom audiences in Facebook. So we're going to jump in and do that. I'm going to show you how to get very specific with your targeting, which, funnily enough, is really quite simple. And we're then going to come around and answer those questions. There were 2 in particular that I was asked. One is the value of Facebook for B2B businesses. It's a question I get asked a lot, and it's a very valid question because we look at Facebook as a social platform. So if I'm selling a business service, is Facebook the right place for me to be? What I want you to think about is the people who are buying from you, whilst they are business people, are still people. Is it the right place for you to be? Absolutely. The way that you market yourself there is what you need to think about. Remember, this is a social platform. Okay, so you want to market yourself there as a business to business people by talking to the business person in the same way that you would talk to them if they were walking into a networking group. In the same way that you're meeting and introducing yourself and explaining what you do to the people in this room. Can I see a show of hands who in this room has a Facebook profile? So looking around, I would say that is 99% of the people in the room. It's 2 people without their hands up. So, are you all business people? Yep, and you're all on Facebook. So, yes, it is the right platform. It's just how you do it. So, you have to be very conscious of the fact that you are speaking to business people in a social environment, not marketing as a B2B, strictly being, that dry sort of traditional advertising or marketing. The next question I was asked was about taking your LinkedIn connections and creating a custom audience in Facebook for it. So, I don't know the answer, which I love when I don't know the answer because it means that you guys are challenging me and I love that. So, being that Steve's asking you all to make commitments about what you're going to do after this, my commitment is that I'm going to find that out and I'm going to put that in the Facebook group when I find out for you, whether that is able to be done or not. Yeah? Oh, LinkedIn! Yeah! I don't have to do anything. Awesome. All right, so that one will be answered. Fabulous. What else? Oh, Facebook group's working. Sweet. So you'll be all able to go and find the Facebook group. So if you look for Breakthrough for Business Penrith and add yourself to that group or request to join. Awesome. Okay. I have a feeling there was another question that somebody asked me that I said I would answer. So if that was you, my sincerest apologies. Please ask me again because I can't remember. All right. So once you've all added yourself to that group, I'll get this off the screen and we'll jump into Facebook. Oh, I'll tell you a funny story. I was telling the guys last night. I'm about to go onto Facebook. I'm going to go into my live Facebook. I take no responsibility for anything you should see there. If someone's shared something that is inappropriate, it is not my fault. If your eyes hurt when you see something, it is not my fault. If somebody swears, it is not my fault. I say this because in the very early days when I started my business, I pulled up Facebook and I hadn't even given a thought to what might be on the screen. And I had a cousin who was having a rant and there were F-bombs and C-bombs and all over the screen. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is not good. So I was very quickly, but it's on the screen and I'm trying to change it, and it just didn't go well. So fortunately, since then, whenever I go to open Facebook, I do say, now, this is live, blah, blah, blah. So I'm at a conference. It's the annual conference for Community Colleges Australia. And I'm on the stage, and the stage is here with this enormous screen. So my slide presentation was just like bigger than life, larger than life. And I'm looking this way at the audience, and obviously the page has refreshed and the news feed has refreshed behind me, and the whole audience just went, and I just saw these jaws drop, and I'm going, oh my goodness, what is it? And I turned around. Does anyone remember when one of the Burgess brothers photos came out and they were wearing nothing? Well, there was a Burgess brother this big on the screen, completely naked. Oh my goodness. So let's hope there are no nudes being shared on Facebook right now, because we're going to go on there. Oh, well, I have to say, there were a few people in the room that were like, it's okay. Don't change it. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we go. Yes. Yeah. Awesome question. Love that question. And I think one of the other question that was something similar. You are going. Oh, see, there I go. I'm showing you my emails. That's probably not a great idea. Not sure what you might see in there either. Let's get rid of all of this. Gosh, I hate it when the screen throws everything out. All right. Okay, so negative feedback. Are you likely to get negative feedback or some moron saying something inappropriate on your Facebook page between now and forever? Yes. You are all likely to get some sort of rubbish written on your Facebook page. Unfortunately, as human beings, we tend to like to give negative feedback more than we like to give positive feedback. So what are you going to do about it? You are going to have a strategy in place in your business that says, in terms of negative feedback, this is our response. And you have it pre-written. And you save it on your desktop of every computer within your business. And you give anybody in your business permission to use this pre-written response to respond to negative feedback. And the response is something like, thank you so much for taking the time out to let us know about this. We take every bit of feedback really seriously and we'll endeavour to use that to improve. We will be in contact to resolve the issue. Your goal is shut it down. Acknowledge it, shut it down, and get it out of the public arena. Would you ever delete a negative comment? We have 2 rules. We call them the red rule and the green rule. The green rule is it's a negative comment, but they didn't offend anybody. They didn't name and shame. They didn't discriminate, be derogatory, swear, anything like that. So they've broken a rule, they've written something, but it's a green rule because it's not going to be considered in a court of law as, inappropriate. They're the ones we respond to. The red rule is they swore, they discriminated, it was offensive. They mentioned a competitor in a negative or positive way. That's a red rule, we delete it. But when we delete it, we say, unfortunately, we've just had to delete a comment from our Facebook wall. The reason we've done this was because it was in breach of our policies. We love hearing from you. So please, we encourage you to communicate with us, but we need to keep it civil. Why do we write, we've just deleted a comment? Why don't we just delete it and pretend it never happened? Someone's already noticed it. In the social space, people, it's like driving past the car accident and you don't want to look, but you look. They see something negative and they go, oh, how are they going to handle this? And they get home at the end of the day and they go, I'm going to look back and see what happened there. The comment's deleted. We fill in the blanks with, oh yeah, they hammered, that's just human nature. That's what we do. So if you delete, you leave a comment that says we've deleted. If it's not breaking any of our rules, you have a pre-approved response that goes up and you take it offline. Why do we have a pre-approved response? Why don't we just write something at the time? So we're all on the same road because it's emotion. As business owners, for me, it's like my third baby, my business. So if somebody says something negative about it, it's like they're offending my children and the mother lion comes out. That's not really going to help anybody in the social space because I'm going to get really, really protective and say something that is maybe not the best thing to say in the social space. So we have a pre-approved response, we copy-paste, and then we go and punch the punching bag or we do whatever we need to do, but we don't do it publicly. Okay? Keeps everyone else on the same page. You can have it pre-approved so that if I'm here today in a conference and somebody writes something up, the staff back in the office know how to handle it. Yeah? So it forms a part of your policy. Awesome. Does anyone remember? Yeah. Yeah. When you're... when you've... No, never name, never engage. And interestingly, If it is a question or a comment that is negative, I have a rule that we reply once and don't engage any further than that. So I've always said that to people, and every now and then I challenge that, and I think, I've responded. Like the other day, I did a Facebook workshop last week, and I had an ad running for it. And somebody wrote underneath the ad, interesting, this post has had very few likes. So I have no hesitation in assuming this training is ineffective. Get it? That's what you get. I've had what they call spam worms. People will write, "This is spam," and make it into a worm shape, and it goes and goes and goes and goes. Why do they do that? Idiots. But for no other reason than to stop people from scrolling all the way down to see if there's any, like, they're just morons. But anyway, absolutely, yeah. So the comment with the, I can assume this training is ineffective. Me as the consultant, what would I tell my client to do about that? I would tell my client, copy paste your normal response and say thank you for the feedback and acknowledge and be grateful. Me as the business owner says, you know what, stuff you. So I write back and I say, thank you for the comment, Manny. Funny, I still remember the name. I guess you could assume that. However, if you've been along to my training, you would know that I consider likes on this post as an external measure that is unimportant in my business. What I'm measuring is how many clicks did I get to my website and how many people have booked into the course, which you can make no assumption on based on what you're looking at. And so my kids were there. I've got a 12 and a 14-year-old, and I said, listen what this idiot just wrote, and this is what I wrote back. And when I read the response out, my son goes, boom. And I was like, yeah. So funnily enough, they didn't respond again. Normally they will. Normally, if it is somebody who is just a bored troll, normally they will not stop. So they will comment, you respond, they will comment again, you respond, and it will just go on and on and on. I've had people actually say in a conversation, going backwards and forwards, making these crappy comments. I've had somebody actually say to me, so his original comment was, here's another one of these fly-by-nighter trainers. I hope you burn in hell, and no doubt you will be in business for the blink of an eye, blah, blah, blah. And I wrote back and said, well, actually, I've been in business for 7 years, and this business supports and feeds my children as a single mother. So I hope I don't die, and I hope you don't die, but I hope you have a better day tomorrow. Thank you. And he wrote back and said, and went on, and it went all the way, and I never would normally respond, but this day I was like, you asshole, you can't say stuff like that. So at the bottom of it, he actually then said back to me, I have to admit, I have made a bit of a habit of trolling businesses, and it has turned into quite a hobby for me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, there really are people out there who are just so weird. So strict rule, reply once, and if they carry on, delete and block. And that's it. Don't exchange any further. So I've had that rule forever, and every now and then I think, I wonder if it does really, if it would really continue on, and the answer is yes, it would. So delete and block after one. They're keyboard warriors. It's easy for them to sit behind their computer and tell me rotten, burn in hell. There's no face. Yep. You can't delete negative reviews. It is really, really hard to manage. I've got one client who it's really affected her business, and she's had quite a few negative reviews on Facebook, and then she's gone back through her 10,000 clients. They are not clients. She has never dealt with them. And she says to me, what do I do? You know, they could be competitors. They could be, who would know? All you can do is just post underneath them and say, you know, we've never worked with you. You know, we're sorry you feel this way. You know, acknowledge it and move on. And I'll tell you what else it does. It really, really affects how you show up in the search. It's a really positive influencer in that ranking. So they are really valuable to have. For you guys, I would say probably the best thing you could do would be turn it off, because you're going to have some people who are unstable. Too much people. Absolutely. Yep. So absolutely. And, you know, you're dealing with people who aren't in their right state of mind a lot of the time. So, yeah, totally agree. But yeah, for most smaller businesses, reviews in general will be a very positive thing for your business. So you want to keep them on. Managing them, unfortunately, there's no easy answer. You can't delete reviews. Yeah, blocking. Yeah. Oh, not through Facebook. Oh, okay. It's a whole nother workshop. But I would say I would return, if it continues, I would return with a response saying that you've sought legal advice and it's got to the level that it's harassment. Yeah, just put the wind up them a bit and hopefully you'd back off. Look, I would say that I would probably post something on my Facebook page saying, you know, in business, we can't keep everybody happy. And as some of you may know, we've had somebody recently that we weren't able to do what he was needing us to do. You know, it's unfortunate, but it's just part of being in business. We hope that our loyal clients will, you know, support us moving forward. The interesting thing is when you get negative comments and you reply to those negative comments, you will be amazed that your loyal customers will do your marketing for you. They'll jump on and say, oh my God, I can't believe you've had a bad experience. We've been there for 30 years and never had a bad experience. They'll, you know, so yeah, I would post something that just says, you know, it's unfortunate that we haven't been able to do something recently and it's caused somebody to be upset with us. We've been dealing with this, but it is affecting us. You know, use the emotional side of it. You know, it's having this effect on us. We apologise that we weren't able to do that, and we hope that our loyal clients will continue to support us. Absolutely. Open the box. As I said earlier, be bold. You know, be bold. Let people in. That's what they want. One of the questions I was asked earlier, which was a really valid question, is we've got multiple people in the business who post on social media. So what it can do as a disadvantage, it can make the page a bit disjointed because it sounds like different people posting. So as people are reading down the page, they're like, oh, well, that person sounds more friendly, or that post sounds more friendly, this one sounds cranky. Maybe that was a good day and a bad day. You know, I wonder what the story is there. What I would encourage you to do, because I love when there's multiple people posting on Facebook, I think it's a really good strategy if you've got that type of environment and you can do that. What I would do is introduce the people who are posting and then have some sort of system where you say, hey, it's Francine, this is, you know, going on today, blah, blah, blah. Tomorrow might be, hey, it's Tom, this is what's happening here today. Use yourselves. So many businesses hide behind a brand and their Facebook page is a brand, not people. People buy from people. Put you in there. So for me, I do selfies. If I'm in a workshop, I should do one. This is one thing. I'm like the painter who doesn't paint their house. I'm like the social media person who doesn't do much social media. So do what I say, not what I do. So what I do is I've created a bit of a thing where I do this and I call it my meerkat. So I just like put myself in it, and that's, you know, the way that I put a bit of me in the Facebook page. So taking photos within your business of the people in the business is so important. So if you've been doing it over a period of time that you've got multiple people posting but you've never really said who's posting, do a series over a period of a week and say, you know what, we've just realised we've never actually told you who's behind this Facebook page. So over the next 4 days, we're going to introduce the 4 people who are posting, and each day we'll tell you a bit about them. And then you might do 1 post a week. What's going on in Tom's life this month? What's going on in, those sorts of things. So you want to tie in your people and work out a way that you're going to say who's doing what. Really, really good strategy. People love to feel the people in the business. They want to know when they pick up the phone to ring and place an order, or when they email to place an order, they want to know basically what does the person who answers the phone sound like. In my business, it's funny, I don't, as I say, I don't do a lot of social media, naughty. But in my business, every single person that rings, my poor staff, sometimes I think they feel undervalued in a sense that if the phone rings, every single time the phone rings, they say, "Can I speak to Francine?" And the other people in the office go like, "I could help you," And they always say to me, "Oh, they want you, like everybody does," And it's purely because people, Maven training, people associate Francine, and they just instantly go, "Oh, could I speak to Francine?" The other people in my business are probably better at dealing with you and will return your calls quicker than I will, and So, yeah, they see me. So what I've started doing is trying to get the team in Facebook, put those guys up there so that people can associate who are the other people in the business. All right, Facebook ads. If you have created ads in Facebook before, when you click on the little down arrow at the top here, you're going to see Manage Ads down here. And you'll have Ads Manager over here on the left. If you've never created an ad, you'll only have Create Ads. So you're going to go to Create Ads. So we're going into Manage Ads. What I'm going to do first of all is I want to show you how do you create a custom audience. So we'll do a number of different things. The first thing will be, how do I create a custom audience from my database? So if you have a CRM, everyone know what a CRM is? Okay, Customer Relationship Management System. All it is a database of contacts. So MailChimp is one that a lot of people use. Very good, free. I never used to recommend MailChimp because it was quite difficult to use. Such an awesome forward-moving company now. Very good, very simple to use. So you create a MailChimp account. That's where you're going to capture your names and email addresses of all of the people who come to your website. From MailChimp, you're going to take those names and email addresses. So you can download it as a CSV file or an Excel spreadsheet from MailChimp or from whatever system you're using. Then you come into your advertising account and you're going to upload those names and email addresses to create this custom audience. Yeah. So Facebook a little while ago brought out Power Editor, a few years ago now. Power Editor was a more advanced advertising platform that I never really used because it didn't add that much value to creating ads. Now they've created this Business Manager, so you will all find that you'll be forced across to the Business Manager. I don't particularly like it. Sorry. I get rolled out early. I don't know why. So my system always looks, remember at the beginning I said if I say look for this button, yeah, it'll always look a bit different, and mine tends to go early. So what I'm thinking, you can, if it's all pushed over to your Business Manager, you can push it back, but I can't remember off the top of my head how to do that. So we might be able to have a look at it after. So inside Ads Manager, this is where it gets really fun. Everything's hidden. So there's lots of options, but they're all hidden. If you click on this little 3 lines at the top here, it's going to open up frequently used and show you what you've used. And then if you hover over Add All Tools, you'll see all of these options come up. This is one of the things that really, really is frustrating in Facebook. There's so much you can do, but most of it's hidden. So if you don't know where to click, you'll never, ever find it. So you're going to look for these 3 lines, and you're going to open up these options here. and you're going to come across and say audiences. So when you want to create a group of people, you're creating an audience. So we click on audiences. And again, try and remember the words I'm saying, not necessarily where it is on mine, because it could be quite different on yours. So you're going to look for audiences. Then you're going to create an audience. And the first time you do it, it's a custom audience. And Facebook says, how do you want to create this audience? From a customer file, from website traffic, from engagement on Facebook, or from app activity. The first one you want to do is a customer file. This is where you're going to import from a database. Now, if you are using MailChimp, you can actually link Facebook with MailChimp. If you don't want to link Facebook with MailChimp, you do choose a file, and you literally upload the file here. So you just go and find the file. It's got to be a CSV. If you've got an Excel spreadsheet, you're going to just copy and paste it all there. Name your audience. So your audience would be database from, whatever system you use, this date to this date. And then you upload. Now Facebook, and it will take a bit of time, Facebook will go and match up all of those email addresses and create the audience for you. Okay? So that's the steps. Once you've done that, you'll have a custom audience created. So this is funny. This is a lady who wanted me to create custom audience and lookalike audiences, but you've got to have a certain number. You've got to have like 250 in your list before you can create the next step, the lookalike audience. Absolutely. I find with most databases, you'll get about 50 to 60% of your database that will be in Facebook using the same email address or something similar. Because we've all got Facebook pages now which all have that business email address. So yeah, it'll search through all of the mechanisms to find it. No, free. Yep. So it's not until you place the ad that there's a fee. Yeah. So once you've got that that audience, the next thing you can do is create a lookalike audience. So remember I said we're going to say to Facebook, now I want an audience of all the people just like those people. So we go to create audience and create lookalike. We choose the list that we just created, and we say to Facebook, I want these people to be exactly like them, or I want them to be, a bit like them, but happy for it to be broader, and create. And you've now got all the people just like those people in another audience. Yeah, so I normally do 2 weeks of testing. If the ad didn't work, it's not Facebook's fault. The ad needs tweaking. So you would have heard Scott yesterday use the terminology split testing, or it could have been Steve. Excuse me. You want to split test your ads. So what that means is you run 2 ads at the same time, slightly different. There is normally one word or something about the image that will make an ad work or not work. Absolutely. So what you do is you run ads. Normally we'll run test campaigns for 2 weeks, but we'll run ads. We might run for 2 days and go, this ad is not working. What are we going to do about it? So rather than just keep throwing advertising money out, we're looking at how are things working. We're tweaking all of the time, recreating, split testing. It takes time to get them to work, but once you get them to work, you'll know, that one worked, that one didn't. Run with this one. Facebook will very quickly, if you're split testing is basically if you create an ad, you've got an image, a headline, body text, and a link is basically what makes up an ad. What you want to do is use the same image, the same body text, the same link, and 2 separate headlines and see which one works. Facebook will very quickly say this one's working, that one's not working, and you'll see that by the data. So then you say, okay, now use this headline because it worked with a different image and see if we get better results. And then if the one works with the better image and the better headline, but if, say for example, you run the 2 ads with the 2 separate headlines and neither is working, then maybe try the 2 headlines with different images. But it's just a matter of just keep testing to see what works. So it depends on what your objective is. So if your objective is to drive traffic to your website, then what you should be measuring and what's going to determine if you're getting successful results is if it's driving traffic to your website. If you're looking for brand awareness, then it's reach. If you're looking for sales, you've got to measure based on sales. So I always think the biggest problem with Facebook ads for most people is they go, I'll throw up an ad, but they don't really know what their objective is at the outset. Someone's told them to do some Facebook advertising, so they put a $50 budget on it and do some Facebook advertising. And then they go, well, it didn't work. Well, what were you trying to achieve? Did you want feet in the door? Or did you want visitors to the website? Or did you just want brand awareness? So understand first, make a decision first, this is what I'm trying to achieve, and then you'll be able to measure at the end of it, was that a successful campaign or not? Yeah. Yep. Not really. Yeah. 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 So you can change elements of it, but you can't. Once it's going, you're basically going to start another campaign and start again. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So you can change your timing, you can change your budget, you can't change internally on the ad. Yeah. For a lookalike audience? And you know what? You would create custom audience Australia, custom audience United States. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, and then you just, yeah. So, because what that's going to do, and what Facebook's saying is, your audience in different countries is going to respond to very different things. So, I would be, running country by country. Yeah. Probably don't want 130 of them, but yeah, just pick your biggest market. Yeah, I know, but I mean, you probably don't want 130 custom audiences, but yeah, that could get a bit hard to manage. Any other questions? Yes? 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 So what you... Yep. Oh, look at that. You want to put this button here linked to your website. So I'll show you on a page that I manage. The way that you edit that. See how it's got the little pencil? Oh, God. So on the button, when you hover over it, it's being silly because of the being linked to the projector. Putting that box over the top. I'm not going to be able to show you. Yeah, so the little pencil there, if you click on that, that's going to say to you, format this button, or something around those words. Beautiful. So yeah, you want to have that linked to your website, but not just to your homepage. You want to have it linked to somewhere where they're either going to subscribe to something or get something specific from your website. Yeah. I remember what the other question was. It was, I mentioned a pixel. When you want to track people who have visited your website and you want to create an audience of people who have visited your website. Came back to me. This is how we do this. So we go again to our audiences. We create an audience, a custom audience, and we say I want to track website traffic. Remember this morning how I was saying now Facebook's moving towards very icon-based, objective-based, what are you trying to achieve? That's what this is. They're trying to help me to figure out what is it that I'm trying to do. So I say I want to get website traffic. It says, what website traffic do you want? Do you want anyone who's visited your website or people who have gone to a specific page? So let's say I want anyone who visits, and I want anyone in the last 90 days, and I'm going to call it website traffic. And I create the audience. Then I go to, hang on. I thought you could get it from here, but it's, if it is, it's, no, so we'll go the other way. Then you go and get the pixel. So again, you go up the top here, and you go to pixels, and your pixel, which sounds like a thing, doesn't it? It's not really a thing. Your pixel being painful because I can't see the whole screen. Is this little piece of code. See this Facebook pixel code, script, exclamation, function, blah, blah, blah. So you go copy to the clipboard. Then you go in the back end of your website. For those of you who don't manage your own website, you are just going to forward that pixel, that piece of code, to your web guy and say, can you put this on the website, please? Okay, and he or she will do that for you. And it would absolutely, and the audience will build up. You'll see the numbers start to climb back in your audiences. They did nothing. Yep. So your goal is, and this is when I was talking earlier about the ecosystem, the online ecosystem, your goal is every single person who comes to your website is a potential client. Your goal is to either capture them in your database by them putting in a name and an email, or capture them in a pixel. And you're going to follow them around until they've decided that they're not going to use your business. That's your goal, is just to, be in front of them for long enough for them to remember you, to decide if you are the person they want to deal with. So once I've got that code copied on my clipboard, I go to the back end of my website. And if you have a whose website is WordPress? Yep, beautiful. So you go WordPress, yep. Okay, so hopefully yours doesn't take this long, because it'd be a very, very unproductive day if this was how we were spending it. Oh, excellent. So in the back end of your website, it's fantastic, you will be able to put it in the head code. So if go to the header, and there'll be a little box, and we just literally are going to paste that little piece of code in there, and that's it. There's nothing else you need to do. Facebook now is tracking visitors from your website, and you're able to remarket to them over on Facebook. Over here, as that pixel tracks people, your audience is going to grow. So these numbers here are going to grow. They're going to show 10 people have come to your website, 100 people have come to your website, 5,000 people have come to your website, and you're able to then create an ad to the audience called website visitors. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah. Sorry, to create your ads or to create your audiences? Yep. Yep. There's a Facebook ads app. Yep. I have no clue what it's called. I'll tell you. But yes, there is definitely a Facebook. Yep, that's it. That's the one. And it gives you all of that data. There's also a Google Ads app, which is really good too. Yeah. Oh, here we go. We're working. In your website, they'll all be different. So in WordPress, dependent on your theme, will depend where your head code goes. Good idea. If you can't find it, so if it's not obvious in your theme and there's nowhere that you can see to put it, all you need to do is go and get a plugin. This is a really simple way to do it. Add a new plugin, find a plugin, search for a plugin that says add code in header, and use a plugin. Really simple. So I'll show you. Here we go. So header and footer plugin lets you add HTML code to the header and footer sections of your blog and more. It's got good reviews. It's compatible with this one. It's been used a lot. Let's install that. Down the side here, we'll have something come up with header and footer. There we go. That's where we drop it. So you say, I want it on every page, or I want it on home page only, or I need, whatever. But you're always going to add it in your header. Yep, so mine is, see, that's it. That's mine there, see? So, but if you may already have code in there because you'll have probably Google Analytics or whatever. You just put it underneath it. Yeah, so just literally paste it in there. Any other questions? Awesome. Sorry? Me? Yeah. Yeah. So, so I'm based in Wollongong, and I have a training room in Wollongong, and we do workshops on Facebook, Instagram, all the social media platforms, and WordPress. And you can either attend in the training room or via live stream. Yeah. Yeah. How long's a piece of string? Yep. So, two things to think about. If I'm selling a $10,000 product and I need one sale to make $10,000, then I would say, what can you afford to spend? It's one of those questions that's really hard to answer. Every business will be different. We typically will do $200 as a test campaign to then be able to give some sort of gauge on what return on investment we're going to do. That's our kind of, that's our kind of ballpark. Yeah, right. I'm a regional trainer. I do things very different to lots of social media experts. I think, for starters, anyone who calls himself a social media guru is full of it, because you can't be a guru on a topic that changes every single day. So, don't call me a guru, because I'll tell you that I'm not. But yeah, that's the ballpark figure that we start with most clients. Yep. Absolutely. You know, if you find something that works, I've got a client who came to me. He's now 97 years old, still working in his own business because he just loves it. He's a locksmith. It's what he does, you know, doesn't want to ever stop. He came to me, he was 93, and he sat down beside me and he put his hand on my leg and said, "Love, you got to do something. You got to help me." And I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "I'm pretty sure that Telstra have got it in for me." And I said, "Why? Why do you say that? What's happened?" And he said, "My phone has stopped ringing, and I think they've diverted my number somewhere, but they won't tell me what they've done." And I said, "Why do you think that?" Like, you know, and he said, "Because in my business, my phone used to ring all the time, and now it's not ringing. And so that's the only explanation." And I said, "All right." So he said, "I need customers to my business. Can you help me?" And I said, "Where are your customers coming from? Where do you advertise?" And he said, "Oh, no, I don't advertise." And I said, "So where do people find you?" He said, "In the yellow pages." I said, "That's advertising." No, it's not advertising. I just pay them to put it." I said, "Oh, yeah, okay." And then I said, "So do you think that they've stopped ringing because they're not looking in the yellow pages anymore?" And he looks at me like, "What? I'm talking another language." And I said, "Well, people don't really use the yellow pages that much anymore." And he said, "What do you mean?" "Well, how do people find things?" I said, "Oh, they go on here and they kind of go to Google, you know, and they..." "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I've been in my house 8 years now, and I've never brought a yellow pages past the front door. Like, it just goes straight in the recycling bin." Oh my goodness, you've got to be kidding. Anyway, long story short, we got him a website, just a really simple little website, and we turned on Google Ads. We tested it over a period of 3 months. We did some split testing. He has no credit card because they're evil, so he uses a little Australia Post debit card, and he puts $100 on it at a time, and those ads work so well now. Like you just said, we literally have them set this time till this time. It's got to be very strict because, you know, "Love, I don't need too much work, and I don't want to work on weekends, and they can't call me after 3," and all this sort of stuff. So we've got it very specific. And it works so well that if that Visa debit card runs out of money, I don't have to tell him, because he knows, because the phone stopped ringing today. So then I'll get a message from him, most times under my door at home. He'll put a piece of paper under my home door and say, "I've put more money on the card," because I don't think he knows that you can send text messages. So in 4 years, it'll be 4 years last March, so it's almost 5 years. We've spent just under $2,000, which is about $1,800, on Google Ads, and that is absolutely the only marketing he does, and he turns it on and off when he wants work. So, you know, it's a matter of tweaking and testing and getting things to the point that it works for you. He goes within 10 kilometres of his house, and he gets all the work he needs, advertising between these times of the day and week for, you know, jobs around his house. It's a matter of working out what works for you, what's a budget that you can afford, and then testing. Test, and get something that works. So now there is one other thing that I wanted to show you before I go, because I know for some of you who haven't created ads, or who are wondering even about the targeting, Creating ads, I'll just refresh and see if I can get this to work. Inside Ads Manager is one way, which is where we just were. The other type of ad is boosting. So you will have seen all over Facebook this word, do you want to boost this post? All boosting does is, remember earlier I said you do a post and Facebook decides to put you out on 10 news feeds, and if you want to get on more news feeds, you can pay some money. So that's boosting. So basically with boosting, you are saying to Facebook, I understand that you've only shown this post to 19 people. I would like to spend some money to push this post into more news feeds. So you click Boost Post. You can choose one of your custom audiences. So you can choose website traffic, or you can choose one of those custom audiences, or you can very specifically target in there. So you can decide, I want people within this radius. I want people between these age brackets. So you come in here, you either choose one of these audiences here, or you say, create a new audience. And you literally here are going to choose what age group, what locations, what interests they have, whether they're pregnant, married, they like the block, all of those specific things. And you just find all of those. It will build an audience. So I'll just do a quick example because I want to show you another really cool thing. So if I say Shell Harbour, it tells me in that audience, so specifically for businesses within, what did I choose? Shell Harbour and interested in business, I think I said. It tells me that there are 280,000 people in that audience. So you can basically see on Facebook, within this radius, in this age bracket, interested in business or whatever it is that you sell, how many people are in your potential audience. And then you go and nominate your budget and track if you want, use your pixel, and then boost. Boost. Okay, so that's how you boost a post, how you choose your audiences, how you create custom audiences, how you create pixels. How do you view? Yep, so the pixel's the bit of code that's sitting over on your website. It's going to track whatever you created it to do. So it's going to track website visitors. Under audience, website, you're going to see the numbers. One thing you'll never be able to see is who are those people. It will advertise to those people, but it will never show you, for privacy reasons, who are they. Likewise, if you've imported a database, say you import 10,000 in the database and your audience only forms 2,000, because that's all Facebook will find, it won't tell you which 2,000 it found. Yeah. Conversion to client. I don't think you could say, because it would depend on how good your targeting is, what you're trying to promote. I don't know that I could give you an estimate. Yeah. Boosting and promoting, both the same. Yep. Promote your posts, same. The what are different? Rates. They are all customizable. They get you, because when they click boost, they'll put a budget there and they'll show you how many that will reach. If you click down, you can choose your own budget. Promoting, you're talking about promote your page. Yes, promote your page is promoting your page for page likes. Boosting is this post only. No, promote is promote your page. It depends on your objective. All, again, ties back to your objective. If you're trying to get page likes, you might decide that promoting your page is the way to go, because your objective is to increase likes on your page. How does that help you? Gives you more likes. Do you want to measure how many likes you've got on your page? To me, it's not the most important metric. Absolutely. But it's credibility. If your page has 15 likes versus your page has 1,500 likes, 1,500 has more credibility than 15. Can I Can I ask one question? Can you all turn back to your burning questions and tell me if there are burning questions we haven't answered? Yeah, no. So PDFs you can't upload into Facebook, so you need to convert PDFs to a JPEG or a PNG image and then upload it. One thing that I would say, one of my least favourite things to see on Facebook is people who get a PDF done, who get a flyer designed and then they upload the flyer. It is really, really hard to read most flyers on a phone. So I would normally say chop it up. So use that PDF and maybe take, you know, the headline, the date and like if it's an event, the little snippet about the speaker and make it into multiple images and then share that rather than sharing a whole, you know, flyer or something like that.
Sorry, I don't have a lot of people on my Facebook page, but however, of the ones I know, most people, I obviously know their names.
Yep.
And then they come through as a friend request again. And that's happened about 3 times in 3 different people in the last 2 weeks.
To me, the only way that would happen is if their profile has been hacked and somebody is...
That's what they're saying, yeah. So how do you stop that?
How do you stop it? Change your passwords.
They've got to change it?
They've got to change their passwords. If you ever get a friend request from somebody and you think, pretty sure I'm already friends with them, chances are that they've been hacked or somebody's copying their profile and doing the, what's the word for it? There is a word for it. I can't think what it is, but
Not trolling.
Yeah, no, it's not manipulation, but they are cloning it. Yeah, they're basically being that person, and chances are, if you accept the friend request, they'll send you awful messages. They send awful, nasty, so that they're jerks and they're trying to create conflict. I've heard people destroyed relationships because they got a friend request from somebody, they accepted it, that person then sent them a message saying, you're a jerk, I heard that you did this, blah, 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 and it's all just fake. It's just some troll somewhere doing it. They send messages from your account, yeah.
That's my biggest fear of using this site, is that somebody will hijack other people and then muck up your site. That's my biggest fear.
And it's completely, when I was saying earlier, this is to us, this is new. As human beings, we weren't really designed to be as public as we are now being. So fear is absolutely, completely normal. If we didn't have some fear about, now our whole life is online, we would be probably silly. The other day, I actually met somebody who said to me that they said something about my children, and I thought, I've never actually told that person that I had children. How did they know that? All they knew about me was my name and my mobile number. He said, well, I put your mobile number in on Facebook and found you. I went, huh? In the search bar, he put in my mobile number and my profile came up, and he was able to go through my Facebook profile. Yeah. But if you Google your mobile number, if you Google, it's really scary. So that's the stuff that is out there. That is the new way. There is nothing you can do to stop people doing that. If your profile gets duplicated and your friends get friend requests, 9 times out of 10, someone will say to you, I just got a friend request from you, but you are already my friend. You might want to check that out. You need to go and change your password and write on your profile that it would appear my profile has been duplicated. Please don't accept a friend request from me. It's not me. That's all you can do. Yeah. Okay. You'll get less reach. The main thing is there's no disadvantage to scheduling. It's very efficient, and I want you to do that. I want you to be efficient. What you lose is organically being there and, interacting. So I want you to do it, schedule it, but make sure that you're still allowing time every day to go in there and spend a little bit of time. because you don't want to not interact and you don't want to not respond. So schedule, but make time to pop in there and make sure there's nothing you need to respond to. Well, you know what? It's interesting. For some people, it's playing, and for some people, they would rather poke themselves in the eye with a blunt pencil. So if you are the person who would rather poke themselves in the eye with a blunt pencil, I would suggest either outsourcing it. Yeah, get some training. I do that, yep, but there's lots of places. But yeah, we run short courses. So yeah, I would say don't have expectations from yourself that what I've shown you today is going to be the answer to all of your problems. For some, that will be enough. They'll go away, they'll play, they'll figure it out. For others, that will be enough to just make them feel completely overwhelmed and silly. And they'll go, oh my God, there's more that I didn't know than I do know, and now I feel completely overwhelmed. So the next step for you people, that today is about awareness, and the next step is, okay, now I know what can be done. I go about finding out how to get it done. Yeah. Don't let it stop you from doing it. Just whatever's the next step for you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you all. Thank you for your participation.
Awesome.
Much appreciated.
Thank you. Fabulous, Francine. That was amazing.
My pleasure.
Good job you got through it. Well done.
Can I have a nap now?
You go to bed.
Excellent.
Awesome. I'm so impressed, not only by your presentation, but the fact that you did get through it, so it was fantastic.
Man, it was always going to be good.
Yeah, always going to be good. Did such a good job. And I mean, Facebook is such a moving object at the moment. So the answer to your question, Brett, do you do it? Yeah, you can go and do courses. I mean, do you actually do a done-for-you type model? Yeah, you get someone else to do it for you. The question you've always got to ask yourself, is this my genius? Is this what I'm bringing most value to my business by learning how to use Facebook? If it is not, get someone else to do it. Because how much you charge per hour should be more than what it costs to outsource to somebody else to do it for you. Does that make sense? 100%.